All right, folks, welcome to another episode of Epic Home Tours. As you can see by this ancient tree line, we are in West Point Grey, and we're looking at something very different from what we have been looking at. It's also very unique. We're looking at a historic estate that's over 100 years old. This is Dutch Colonial Revival architecture, and the character elements are absolutely insane. So why don't we go and have a look? So first thing you probably notice is all the greenery, the lush landscape gardens, beautiful flowers. I personally love the red brick pathway, and also you actually have a really nice, large front yard. Super functional. And also, of course, we have the ancient trees everywhere just hanging above us. It's such a beautiful backdrop that makes you feel like you're in a forest. In fact, like I said, there's trees all around us. This is such a nice little detail. You have a little tree over here. Thankfully, it's nothing that's too large. And take a look at this. The magnitude of scale is very impressive. This definitely reminds you of some of the buildings you see in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. I was just there in Christmas time of last year. So definitely pays homage, which is why they call it Dutch Colonial Revival, when there was a lot of Dutch settlers here from the time. One thing to point out, I love this overhang. You know, it protects the exterior from water, which is incredible. You're already seeing these exceptionally large windows, and most of them open out quite dramatically. Definitely not up to code these days, but at the time, beautiful. And it also allows a lot of sunlight to come in. This little gate here actually leads into the backyard, so we'll go have a look at that a little bit later. But for now, why don't we make our way up these steps? Again, there's so many windows and all the small details. And you might think, since it's over 100 years old, that it should be single pane windows. And for the most part, you'd be right. But at some point, someone must have added this second panel of glass. So technically, there's two panes. One on the other side and this one right here. I just love this. You barely ever see this anymore, but you know, the windows themselves are actually so expansive, and the small details. So why don't we make our way inside? So folks, as we make our way in here, you start to notice, apart from the foyer, which they have some beautiful tiles on the ground, we also have this character wood flooring, so to speak. Which beautiful, lots of intricate details. As we make our way here, we see the living space. And again, it's so bright in here. Of course, the windows play a big part, and you have a small opening right here that leads to your dining area. And of course, the French doors that go out to the patio. However, have a look at this. This is one of my favorite pieces here in this home. Definitely character, reminiscent of the times, and it is so spacious. Like, it's such a large, rustic, but also very elegant design element. So let's make our way over here. South-facing patio, so we have incredible sunlight, a beautiful dining space. And over here, since there's no carpet, you could really see the detailing within the floors. It is so stunning. You know, and plus back in the day, the wood was exceptional in quality. It was really about the quality of each single piece that was implemented to the home. So So everything was built to last in that era. Let's have a look at the kitchen. This is so interesting. I feel like I'm going back in time. The cabinets are extremely Dutch. If you've seen some of the designs out in the Netherlands, this definitely pays homage. Again, large windows throughout. It's like you're stepping back into history. But ultra functional. We have a little counter, but you know, even though it's historic, it's still functional. Down here is a stairwell that leads to a very large basement area as well as a garage. And you know, we do have an attached garage, which is quite rare for a home of that age. So still super functional. And downstairs there's a workshop, a cold room, an additional bedroom. So for someone that wants to come and finish it, it could be an incredible rec space. So stepping back into the dining area, this feels like we're in Europe. Lots of space, lots of sunlight. I personally like the fact that we have our French doors here that actually lead out to a private patio. Now this is very spacious. Again, the lot itself is so spacious. So when you are back here entertaining, having a bite to eat with the family, you're just surrounded by beautiful trees. You see the new fences that we've just installed. And of course, a little clubhouse over there. So if you have kids, I'm sure they would love that. But this is great. Lots of sun, or if you want to do some tanning or so forth. Very versatile house space. Let's go back inside and take the rest of the home in. This doorway over here leads to a full bathroom and one of the bedrooms. Folks, one thing you're gonna realize, we do have carpeting in this washroom, and you might think, wow, that's kind of strange. But at the time, it meant that this home was extremely high quality. Having carpets in the washroom back then was a luxury. So, something to keep in mind. Full washroom with a shower. I'm just shocked how this is actually in incredible shape still, and it still has that design. Let's make our way into one of the bedrooms. Looking at this bedroom, it's extremely spacious and still tremendous amount of sunlight. I can attest that, of course, to the large windows, both up top as well as over here. These character closets have also been revitalized, so it's back in shape. Incredible stuff. And you know, just to kind of show you guys, take a look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, Vancouver bylaw department, if you guys are watching, this is grandfathered, so don't come after us. But all jokes aside, I love this. I mean, this is so beautiful. It's very historic. However, come on, how do you not love this? It opens up directly into your beautiful yard. I just felt the breeze, and you also see the trees and even the mountains from here. Incredible. You cannot buy this anymore. Even if you have the money, no one will let you do this. So this is a rarity. Next, we're gonna take a look at the second floor. Let's go. We're on the second floor, and you just feel how spacious and open it is, because first, it is spacious. Also, again, the emphasis on the large windows is absolutely incredible. This fully opens up, and you know, with the beautiful tree line that we have, you know, it just ties everything together. It's a wonderful backdrop. We have this cedar wood panel, which is really lovely. Lots of space. We have 3 bedrooms on this floor. Let's take a look at this one. First of all, the spaciousness in it is super efficient. With the windows on all sides being a corner room, it's exceptionally open. You know, this is without us even opening the windows itself, but it's extremely airy, feng shui flow, so to speak. There's so much you could do with this. I mean, of course, we see the wallpaper. Even just getting a space. Bedrooms these days are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But look at this detail. Wow. If someone wanted to come in and reimagine the space, there's so much potential because the configuration, in spite of this home reaching its centennial, which is an achievement on its own, you know, being in such good shape at 100 years old, it might be in better shape than you at 100 years old. But only time will tell. The second bedroom's right here, so when we make our way before we go to the master, still super spacious. Yet we have windows all around. Again, being placed in the corner, that's such a smart idea, right? Like, the floor plan at this age is incredible. It's so open, it's super functional. There's so much you could do. I have so many ideas already. Even just looking out here, you have tremendous privacy, beautiful trees. And you know, if you're moving to Vancouver, isn't that one of the reasons you came? Yeah, but this is so spacious. Wow. Let's have a look at the master bedroom. So over here in the master bedroom, still very spacious. It feels like we stepped back in time. I think even a craftsman style design would be so incredible, or even a mid-modern transitional, very easily implemented because there's so much sunlight, especially with keeping the windows. Wow, that would be an incredible sight to behold. Now, this master bedroom has its own ensuite with a double sink and a bathtub, shower, toilet, and the luxurious carpets in the washroom. And this leads us back into the hallway. So I had to point this out to you because I completely geeked out when I saw this because I thought such a cool, I don't know, like feature to have. But take a look at this. What do you guys think this is? You might know, you might not know. I didn't know, we had to play with it, but this is actually one of the light fixtures. That is so cool. Am I the only one geeking out about this? Now that we're in the backyard, first, you just feel how calm and serene this is. We have trees all around us. We already saw the beautiful front yard. Over here, we also have an incredible backyard. And where I'm standing on, this driveway leads to your attached garage. Now, majority of properties at that age, you don't expect any garage, let alone an attached one, which obviously indicates this was added afterwards in 1978. But I mean, particularly in Vancouver, when it does rain, when it snows, you could go right in and walk upstairs. So it just adds a much more functional component to the livability of this home. Over there, as you can see, there's a fun little tree house, clubhouse. So for all the kiddos, I'm sure you'll love this. One thing I did really want to stress, you could probably kind of see, I don't know, but this lot is exceptionally wide. You know, again, we're over 6,700 square feet, and in Point Grey, there's not as many big lots in general. In the Vancouver West Side, you're gonna have a lot of 6,000 square foot lots as a whole, but not as many with a 55-foot frontage, because that gives you a lot of versatility. Apart from the fact that you have a lot more privacy, It's a lot more usable. I mean, look how big this space is. But also in the future, if you are planning to build a home, the lifestyle that you could achieve from that, the openness in space, is drastically different. That's why even for our home over here, when you're on the inside, it feels so spacious. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Epic Home Tours. If you like what we're doing, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with one of your friends. It's not easy making these videos, so your support will help me to continue doing this. And for those of you that have already subscribed, thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate you, and I do not take it for granted. So we're gonna keep working on this. We have a lot more incredible videos coming down the road. And again, from the bottom of my heart to my followers, thank you. Ciao.